Today, I'm going to put this TV through the ultimate torture test. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. I am standing here next to this Hisense TV, and this is no ordinary Hisense TV. This is a technological powerhouse of a TV, and so I wanted to check this out because I wanted to actually set up a TV outside so that this fall I can watch some of my favorite teams, the Northwestern Wildcats, the Detroit Lions, play a little football outside in the country when the weather's nice. I love fall, nice, cool, crisp air. But I thought that if I was going to put a TV outside, it's going to have some struggles. One of those is brightness. Are you going to be able to see the TV in light? And two, with really fast action, are you going to be able to see all that motion without blur? So I am actually borrowing this TV. This is a Hisense, and now this one is pretty well tricked out, and this is their U7, and that means that this TV has all sorts of crazy tech in it. Quantum dot technology. Now take a look at this peak brightness here, 1000 nits. Most TVs are like 250 to 300 nits. So that's why I wanted to try this out, because it is supposed to be super bright. So I think out here in direct sunlight, maybe this will work. We'll find out. But then the other thing that's really interesting about this TV and what makes it great for gamers or people that watch a lot of fast motion on TV is this 120 Hertz native panel. So the refresh rate on this thing is crazy good. So if you do a lot of gaming, this should work really well for gaming, but also action movies, fast sports, those types of things, assuming they filmed it in a high enough frame rate. So let's get this thing unboxed, set up, and try it out. All right, now to unbox this, you just have to remove these little tabs right here, and that will allow you to lift off the top. So testing to see if a TV will work outside is not something that I would just spring the money for, because I don't have the money to do that. So I want to thank Hisense for letting me borrow this TV. They're not giving it to me, and they're not compensating me for this either, but they are going to loan this to me for a couple weeks. So that'll allow me to see at least a couple weeks of football on it. So that being said, I'm just borrowing this and we'll see how it is. All you have to do is lift off this top panel. Now, the other thing that's really exciting about this TV that you can see right on there is it says Android. And I love that, because I love that Hisense has embraced smart TVs using operating systems that they did not build themselves. That gives me a lot of comfort that the operating system is not going to be obsolete. It's not something that is proprietary to them. And I love that the app ecosystem for Android and Roku is very robust. Now, I pulled off the top here, and what I want to show you is that there's a piece of styrofoam holding in the top of the TV, and this also has a bunch of your stuff, your legs, some of the mounting hardware, so you do have to pull that out. Now, my tip on assembling these TVs is to use the lid here as a base. So once you get the TV out of the box, I usually lay this down and then lay the TV panel down face first on top of the box so that I can attach the legs. That keeps it slightly above the ground so that I can get the legs on without stressing the TV. And at 65 inches, this is a pretty healthy sized TV. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lay this down onto the box here so I can attach the legs. All right, so I've got the TV on the box ready to install the feet here. So we get some metal legs and the hardware right there. You can put those in with a Phillips head screwdriver. I always use a cordless screwdriver, makes it a lot easier. You can see what the back looks like here. All the electronics are kind of in this hump along the lower back here. Otherwise, it's very thin everywhere else and darn near bezel-less on the front. But I just want to show you what we get here on the back. So we have a LAN port, digital optical audio out, a serial and a service plug, which look like 3.5mm plugs to me. And then we have a USB port, so you can throw in a flash drive there, side load movies, pictures, those types of things. We have 4 HDMI ports, so this is perfect for gaming. And as you can see there, one of them is ARC, so that's going to be audio return channel. And then we also have an antenna cable, so you can screw in your over-the-air antenna. We have an AV in plug right there, and then we also have a 3.5mm headphone jack coming out right there, as well as another USB port, and then the reset button in case you need to use that. Now, the legs will go right into the bottom here, so you can see that. You can't screw them up. There's a little pin there to index them. There's a R1 and an R2, and my guess is that you can mount these in different spots. So if you want it to be a little more stable and put them on the outside, or maybe you're a little short on real estate, you can put them on the inside. I will probably mount this on the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and put these in, then get it all set up. And I got the legs installed here. You can't actually screw them up. The left only goes on the left side and the right only fits on the right side. I do want to point out a couple of small things here that I like, and it's not just for gamers, but we do have a couple hooks here on the back So you have one on each side for cords, but then you also have these little sleeves right here on both of the legs. So you can hide the cords and run them down the leg, you know, say behind your table or something like that. So I like those little details. It just makes it easier to kind of clean up and hide cords with this. So pretty cool. Let's get this thing set up, try it out. All right, so I am outdoors. It doesn't get any more outdoors than this with this TV, and I've got it set up here on the lawn. I think this is kind of where I would set up some chairs, a table, maybe even a little outdoor fire pit. But before I turn it on, I want to show you some of the things that I love about this TV already. So it's as big as you can get without being any bigger than necessary, because you have, like I said, almost this frameless, bezel-less design. I mean, it is super slim, so that is awesome. So a 65-inch TV is going to be about 65 inches. It's not going to have this huge bezel on it. The other thing I've got here is this remote. So this is all set up, ready for Android. You can see it looks like a regular remote. It feels nice in the hand. It's kind of got a little bit of a thicker bottom, but it's all set up for Android. And what I love about this too is that they give you some shortcuts to the apps that you'll use a lot. Now, I don't know how these companies vie for the button placements here, especially Peacock. They're kind of new to the scene here, but they are all on there. So let's get this thing plugged in and set up and try it out. So I just plugged it in and it's coming to life. Now, one of the things that I'm kind of curious about is that obviously I have Wi-Fi and we are within the Wi-Fi zone here, but I'm not really close to my Wi-Fi nodes, and I've got a bunch of stone in between me and the Wi-Fi signal. So the beauty of internet connected TVs is that you don't need a cable box. So you just have to have the TV and internet. And I'm really hopeful that I will get a good enough internet signal out here to be able to watch this. Ooh, so looks like it's finding my Wi-Fi, which is great. Well, that's a good sign. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. I'm pretty excited. I mean, it's so bright out here that you can see me in this black panel reflection. Woohoo! I'm just sitting out here on the lawn, chilling and watching TV. And not watching TV like on my iPhone. I'm actually watching it on a TV, which is kind of crazy. I will tell you, probably the one thing that you do have to remember about taking a TV outside is that depending on what the wind is like, I mean, I see the panel kind of wobbling a little bit. So if you're going to be in a high wind situation, I would probably tether those feet down, kind of wrap them up and tie them to your table or something like that, just to make sure that this thing doesn't flop over. I mean, right now it's not flopping over, not strong enough wind, but just something to consider. All right, this is up. Let's watch some of my favorite shows out here in the sunlight on the lawn. I'll tell you what, the picture and the sound looks pretty good so far, even on this ad. All right, I was just hitting up one of my videos here, and I will tell you right now, this thing is super bright and super crisp. I mean, 4K, what would you expect out of that? But man, look at that. And I'm telling you, I'm sitting outside with this little bad boy right now. Yeah, there's a little glare here, but what I also have realized about this is it seems to have just the slightest matte finish. Not quite like a laptop matte finish, but it's not super glossy like a pane of glass. So there's just a little bit of diffusion on the screen too, which is nice. So obviously you can see me through there on the reflection, but it's not as bad as if it were just a really polished sheet of glass, I think. So the other thing is the sound is really quite good on this, just using the default speakers. You could always use that headphone jack and just plug in a cheap soundbar or something if you really wanted to get good sound. But for me, watching the game outdoors here this fall is going to be more about having it on low so that we can talk, and so that I can have some people over, we can talk and have a conversation but know what's going on. So I love this. I'm gonna just play this here because this is a top that I'm throwing around here and there's a lot of movement in it, so I want to see how the TV handles that as well as the sound. So let's get to it. Oh, kind of hovers a long time. All right, chasing this thing down is kind of an exercise. Come back here. Wow. Dude, come back. I can see the top, the detail on the top when it's all the way out there. That's pretty awesome. I don't know. It's almost like camouflage in my lawn right here. Dude, I've been totally impressed with this. I feel a little bit like I've got an outdoor drive-in movie theater going. And I can't tell you, the quantum dot technology or the 70 zones of lighting. I can't tell you what that produces. So other than just sharing with you my experiences of watching it, being an actual TV viewer, I can tell you that it is totally bright. It is absolutely high res. I mean, the fast motion here doesn't produce any blur to me. I mean, seems to be, I think I filmed this in 60 frames per second. So the fact that this has 120 hertz refresh rate means that there is more capability on the TV than there is strain from the video. So yeah, I don't know. On a nice, cool, breezy, sunny day like this, I could just sit outside, enjoy the fall weather, and watch TV outside. No cables, aside from the power cable that I ran out here. It's all done over the internet. This is pretty awesome. This U7 TV from Hisense is pretty amazing. Like I said, it has a lot of the specs that you would expect in a high-end TV, and it's pretty affordable. So under $1,000 for this TV, 65 inches for this size. Obviously, you can get it in some other different sizes too, but there's a U8 and a U9, so you can go even a little higher end if you want. But man, this U7 has it all. I am pretty impressed by this, and I'm pretty excited to use it for the next couple weeks. I don't know what I'm going to do for the remainder of the football season, but at least the next 2 weeks will be glorious. Hey, if you want to pick up this TV because it might make your life a little better, I'll put a link to it in the description below. Peter Von Panda, out.
We can discover more and explore so much deeper. We can live better than ever face.